This is Active Geeks, and in today's session, we are going to discuss on stack analysis in GDB. There are multiple things which we would be addressing in this session. We will first understand what is a stack frame, what it contains, and how it is populated, and then we will jump into the some issues that are basically associated with the stack, and then how to solve it. So for this, we are going to use GDB as a tool. Stack is a section of a memory map wherein we store our local variables. It is also the section where we store the return address of the functions. So, if we want to know how the stack is actually populated, let us say there are two functions, draw line and draw square. Draw line is getting called by a function called draw square. So here we see that parameters for a draw square at the bottom of the stack. What does this means? This is the formal parameters, what we have passed to draw square as arguments. So square. So once the formal parameters are pushed onto the stack, then we push the return address. This return address is the address that has to be executed after draw square has returned from its subroutine. So then after the return address, we keep the local variables of the draw square. Then suppose a function draw square calls another function called draw line, then what we do? We populate the stack with the formal parameters of draw line. These are nothing but the arguments which are passed to draw line. So after the formal parameters, we keep the return address of draw square as a part of the stack frame of draw line. Now the local variables of draw line are placed above it. So whatever you are seeing in a green color, that is the stack frame which belongs to draw line. And the section of the stack highlighted in blue is the frame that belongs to draw square. Say the local variables of a function. It includes any integer, characters, arrays, everything that are declared as a part of that function stack. So what could be the issues with this variables in a stack? One main thing is the overflow of these variables. So when we define an array, we know that the array would be declared for a particular bound. When we access the array out of the bound, we end up into an issue wherein we either override the return address of that particular stack frame, or we will be accessing some other address which is not desired for this stack. So for this, the protection of the stack, there are few GCC flags which will enable us to protect the stack. So to discuss about those flags, we will consider an example. In this function, we are having a main code. So main is just calling a function func. So when we look into the function definition of func, we can see that it has a buffer which contains 3 bytes, and then there is a variable which says can't overflow me. What we are doing after that is we are filling the buffer using a get function. So this gets doesn't know the bound of the buffer, and it will take as many characters that I input from the screen. So after that, we are actually checking the variable can't overflow me. This is ideally set to 0, and we are expecting it to always print can't overflow me because it is always not equal to 0. I mean, it is always equal to 0. So it should always print can't overflow me. So let us try this example. So as I told you, there are two flags, no stack protect and protect all. There is one more flag which is only protector. So let's compile with a flag no stack protector. So here basically we are not protecting the stack in any means. So when I compile this program, I get a warning because I am using a gets function which is not supposed to be used here. And then let me run the binary. So now it is asking me for an input. As we have seen, it's only of 3 bytes. The buffer can take only 3 characters. But if I input a string which is longer like this as an input, it says you have overflowed me. And we get a crash because we are basically accessing some memory which is not allocated to us in the stack frame. So we are getting a segmentation fault. That is expected. And you have overflowed me, which means with this segmentation fault, we also saw that the variable can't overflow me is actually overridden, and we don't have any track of it in our program where it is over. This is because of the buffer overflow. So let us now try with another flag, protect all. So when we execute this and provide the same input as before, we see that can't overflow me. The variable can't overflow me did not get overridden even with the buffer overflow. This is because of the use of the flag stack protect all. So let us understand what this flag actually does that will actually help us in preventing the overridden of the variables. And also you can see one more thing, that here we are able to detect the stack smashing, which we are not able to detect in the case of no protect. So what is actually happening is I am going to compile the same file with the no protect flag and with the -d flag so that I can load the code in GDB. Now I'm starting a GDB session for it. Let me list the files starting from a 0 position. So let me put a breakpoint for the function func. So let us start the program. So here we are in the function func and our breakpoint has executed. So let me see the address of the variable buffer, and then we will print the address of the variable can't overflow me. So here the buffer is allocated at the location db90 and can't overflow me is at the location db9c. So what will, it's basically 3 bytes of memory difference between these two things. So if I enter 4 characters, what it is going to happen is like the next character is going to get placed in can't overflow me, the 0 value of that section. So this can be seen using examine command, examine slash 4b. I am taking 4 bytes. So these are the initial values. These are byte values, and if I want to look into them in a character perspective, this is because the buffer is not yet initialized. So let me step a bit. So now let me look into the values, and then we will also look into the values of an integer will occupy 4 bytes, so I have to view them as integer and can't overflow me. Sorry, I have to view them as decimals. Yes, can't overflow me, everything is 0, and this is the address of can't overflow me. So now if I keep stepping my program, I'm asking get buffer. So now I'm supposed to fill the buffer. Let me fill as geeks. So this would actually print my buffer. Geeks is equal to geeks. So here, if I try to print the contents of can't overflow me, it is actually 0 because the variable is not yet overridden. all the locations are initialized to 0. So let me try to fill in the buffer with some bigger string. I'll run the program from the beginning and step, step, step. Now let me input some bigger string like this. Now let us try to examine the contents. All the contents of the variable can't overflow me has changed, and this is because of the buffer exceeding the number of characters that it was assigned to. So this is one example, good example of a stack overflow. So now how do we prevent such scenarios? If such scenarios are not prevented, then there could be situations like suppose you are granting a permission for some particular user. Just because that a user entered some invalid strings, you will end up misleading your program into granting that particular user a wrong permission, which should not ideally happen. So let us quit the debug session. Now let us start the program using, now we are using the GCC flag stack protect all and compiling it. gdb.out. Break function and then run. So step. So now it is asking for the buffer. So if we print the address of the variables here, so this is 7C, and this is 80. So what the flag actually did was, this flag protect all, this actually made sure that all the buffers that were there in the function stack are placed at the end of the stack so that they don't override the other variables. But this does not guarantee us completely that suppose there are two buffers and overriding one buffer would definitely cause the overriding of another buffer which is adjacent to it. So, but at least what it made sure was all the variables remain before the buffer gets onto the stack. So in this case, if you try the same thing of giving a invalid string, can't overflow me, that is the output, because the memory which was assigned to can't overflow me did not get overridden. Sorry, 4D. So if you look into the memory of the variable can't overflow me, it's all same. Here is the diagram which depicts how a stack frame would look. Suppose if I have a variable M, L, K, J and two buffers. If I have no stack protect as a flag for the GCC compiler, then my buffers would remain at the beginning of the stack frame and then my variables would be placed in the stack. But whereas if I here this is a mistake, that no stack protect all should not be the case here. It's actually stack protect all. So if I have a flag stack protect all, then the buffers would stay at the end of the stack frame, and initially my variables would be located in the stack. And we can see that there is one more thing called stack canary. A stack canary is nothing but a protector that is placed at a stack frame so that any overflows that are causing a misbehavior would be detected. So, for example, here in this program, when we didn't enable the stack protection and we ran a dot out, what we could see was there was an overflow, and the segmentation fault, you just cannot depend upon the segmentation fault. There is no confirmed thing that if you access some extra variables in a stack that it will definitely crash. Sometimes you declare an array of 4 bytes and you access 8 bytes, but still the stack won't crash. But you might face an issue where you have overflowed the particular another variable which is placed adjacent to the buffer. So you need to detect whenever there is a stack overflow. For this, the OS inserts something called as stack canaries. They are nothing but few extra bytes that are placed before and after the return address. So whenever there is a stack corruption or a stack overflow because of some buffer getting extra few bytes, accessing few bytes, that time when you overflow the stack, you will also overwrite the stack canary. A stack canary is just some hash value or an integer value which is placed in few bytes above and below the return address. So when you overwrite such bytes and when you return from the function, those bytes will be verified against a value. So if there is a change in those values, the program will automatically detect it and rise a stack smashing attack. So once you get a stack smashing attack, that will definitely terminate the program, and there is 100% guarantee that whenever your stack frame is corrupted, your program exits and you know the culprit that this is the stack frame which was corrupted, that this particular function faced an issue with the stack because of which it got corrupted. Now we can debug into that particular frame and we can come to know what was the problem with that frame. So let us try an example with full stack protection. If I do the same thing with this particular variable, see, since we had enabled the stack protect all, our variable was protected and it was placed at the beginning of the stack and the buffer was at the end, and further the stack smashing was detected. This is because the few extra bytes whatever we saw here was changed because of the buffer overflow, and this resulted in the detection of the stack corruption. Thank you for watching the lecture. Good day.